Fala pessoal, de boa, continuando a nossa gameplay do Starfield de onde paramos. Se estiverem gostando do conteúdo, deixa o like, se inscreva no canal e vamos lá.
Pleasant change of scenery.
Greetings, pilot. This is Jiro Sugiyama, head of Paradiso Security. I apologize for coming over this emergency channel, but we are in need of assistance concerning the large ship in orbit, and we value discretion in this matter. If you are willing and able, please see me as soon as possible at the main security office in Paradiso. Over and out.
Beleza pessoal, entrando neste sistema pela primeira vez, vocês terão aí o início desta missão relacionada aqui a essa área. Mas primeiro, informações do sistema: 6 planetas e 15 luas. Bastante coisa aí pra gente fazer, além de ter missões ali também. Então vamos lá, né? O planeta de entrada, ele é o número 2, onde a gente tem ali Paradiso. Nós já viemos aqui por causa da história de romance da Sarah. Temos 6 formas de vida, 5 plantas, 4 recursos e 1 atributo. E aí a gente vai conversar com o líder da segurança.
Welcome to Paradiso. Jiro Sugiyama at your service. Do you have a security concern, or is there something else I can help you with? Honestly, it's not as exciting as you might think most of the time. More often than not, we're just handling drunk and disorderly conduct. Heck, even pirates leave us alone for the most part. I think it's because some of them actually vacation here. As long as they're not bothering anyone, we've been told not to worry about them. Neither. We're our own private force. The Paradiso group pays top dollar for top-notch security. And I dare say we're some of the best in the business. We have to be out here on the fringes of the settled systems. Ah, yes, of course. I'm glad you came. As you can imagine, we're in a bit of a predicament. Under normal circumstances, we would not enlist outside help in this manner. But this is a matter we can't afford to worry our guests about. As such, we need to handle this discreetly. Failure on your part to do so could have severe consequences. So, before we proceed, can you swear not to discuss this with anyone else unless explicitly directed to do so? You're right. We're not. Which means we're not bound by anyone's laws but our own. In other words, it's our system and our rules. Neither the UC nor the Freestar Collective will help you if you get into trouble here. Great. I appreciate it. Not too long ago, a strange and enormous ship appeared in Porrima space. It is now locked in orbit around our planet. So far, it doesn't seem to be hostile, but any attempts to communicate with it have been in vain, so we're unsure of the ship's intentions. It bears no discernible markings or allegiances to any manufacturers we're aware of. I'm hoping that doesn't mean we're dealing with some sort of new deep space threat. Not quite. It took some time, but we received a transmission. It was all, pardon the phrasing, it sounded almost alien, like nothing anyone's heard before. Clicks, distorted groans, buzzing, really disturbing sounds. Now, one of our engineers says it could just be some busted comm equipment or incompatible signals, but we're not sure. So far, no one's disembarked from the ship, no landing craft, nothing. We don't have the staff or ships to spare, otherwise we'd dock with it and attempt to board. Can't say for sure. Looks worn, but not cobbled together like a Crimson Fleet junker. Others have been saying it's some new Varun design, a gigantic battleship with hidden armaments preparing for assault, but that doesn't check out either. There's also been talk about non-human sentient life. The comms data we received might support that, but humanity's spread far and wide and no one's ever encountered anything like that. Still, first contact. Could you imagine? It is. Whatever's going on, we need to approach this with care. First, see if you have more luck communicating with them. If not, you may have to try boarding. Whatever you do, it's important to remember to seek diplomacy with who or whatever's on board. As soon as you have any more information, report to Oliver Campbell. He's the CEO of Paradiso. All formal decisions will need to go through him, and he'll have your pay. Good luck.
Beleza, pessoal, então a gente acabou iniciando a missão e agora teremos que ir lá para aquela nave que a gente viu ali na órbita aqui do planeta para interagir com ela e tentar uma resposta ali também. Beleza, então a gente não tem outra alternativa a não ser acoplar ali na nave e vamos ver, né, quem iremos encontrar aqui ou o que também.
Stay alert. Weapons at the ready.
You're human? Oh, we're human. From the planet Earth in the Sol System. It's just that we weren't expecting to find life, let alone human life out here. We thought we were the only ones to leave Earth.
You thought you were the only ones? I am afraid you have been unaware of a great many things.
Perhaps we should greet our guests.
Of course. Manners. I'm Captain Diana Brackenridge. This is Security Officer Bomani Reader. And this is Dr. Mabuti da Costa, one of our elders.
A pleasure to meet you.
I don't know all the particulars, but I'll try to answer as best I can. It's a colony ship. It was built long ago by our ancestors to sustain our crew over hundreds of years in space through generations of travelers. It's sturdy, fast, and spacious. That last one is important because we had to take as many supplies as possible with us on the journey and still have ample space for our crew. I see. As you may have presumed, we're in a bit of a bind. Our ship has finally completed its near 200-year journey from Earth, only to find our new home seemingly colonized by... well, we don't know. Communications haven't been successful, so your arrival is fortuitous. Perhaps you'd be willing to act as a middle person between ourselves and... the others. We're not entirely sure. Our engineers believe it's possible that our technology just isn't compatible with theirs. All we hear when using them to communicate with anyone is a bunch of disturbing noise. It gave me the heebie-jeebies at first. Well, the short answer is, we didn't. It's a generation ship, which is to say that most of us lived long, happy lives on board and passed our mission down to our children. It was never intended that the original crew would make it to our destination. The goal was always the preservation of the human race above all else. Though, it would seem that was perhaps a bit presumptuous. We do. Well, sort of. We saw structures using our surveying equipment. We've also seen the various ships pass us by. Some even seemed to want to communicate, but couldn't. Of course, we had no idea that they were being piloted by other humans. Ah, your question confirms one of our recent theories. It would seem that some form of faster-than-light travel or space-bending technology was invented during our long journey. That would explain why we would find people this far out into space. I guess technology leapfrogged us at some point. Interesting. I can only imagine that our predecessors didn't believe the technology would ever work, and so they made the decision to leave when they did. Oh yes, of course. Where are my manners? Now then, please follow me. There's much to discuss first. We'll speak more on the matter once we reach the bridge. Dr. DaCosta, you may return to your quarters if you wish.
Thank you, Captain.
I will follow you to the bridge, ma'am, for security purposes.
I do not believe we have need to fear our guest, but I'll allow it if you insist. Welcome to the Earth colony ship Constant. In the early 2100s, my ancestor, Rupert Brackenridge, researched a number of scientific scenarios: climate change, asteroid impact, nuclear war, global pandemic, and more. Each scenario showed the likelihood of an extinction-level event to be within 50 years. He fully believed Earth was destined to be rendered uninhabitable. We've always assumed that's what happened. He gathered the best and brightest he could find, built the Constant, and set a course for this planet here. We were told that it was the largest, most advanced ship ever constructed on Earth at the time. If you can believe, entire generations have been born, lived, and died on this ship. It really goes to show that there are no limits to human ingenuity and perseverance.
Just because our equipment's old, doesn't mean it won't work to take down troublemakers.
Now that we know what's out there, things are going to be more interesting from here on out.
So, here we are. Let's talk. Now that you're here, I can finally give my crew a chance at a new life. I think I'm coming up on 6 years now. I was only a teenager when my father died, passing command of the ship to me, as is tradition. Because of that, I've had to sort of learn as I go along, instead of taking years of study and apprenticeship under the prior captain. I think some people on the ship resent me for not having the level of experience as my predecessors. But at the same time, without my command, we likely wouldn't have made it here so quickly. A bit frazzled, as you can imagine. People are anxious about discovering that we're not alone, and also worried about what will come to pass. While we hope we can work out a deal with the people on the surface, they seem reluctant to reach out, so there's no telling what will come of that. I do know that we can't afford to stay here in orbit forever. The ship was built to sustain us for many years with backup provisions just in case, but even that will come to an end eventually. difficult is the wrong word. It can be both challenging at times and also exciting. Our mission was to rebuild humanity on a distant world, believing that we were Earth's last hope. To think that while there has always been a Brackenridge in the captain's chair, that I am the one to finally oversee our journey's end is truly exhilarating. But with this stumbling block in our path, at this final moment, I fear tough choices will need to be made. Well, as I mentioned, we've been unsuccessful in communications with anyone up until you arrived, though not for lack of trying. But since you're asking, maybe you'd be willing to be a sort of diplomat between us and them as we attempt to resolve our situation. Does that sound agreeable to you? We suspect that our equipment is woefully obsolete compared to whatever you all have now. In all honesty, we never expected to need to communicate with anyone, so our comms aren't particularly robust. That limits our options. We even attempted communicating with lights and sounds, something we saw in an old movie, but I don't believe they picked up on it. If anything, it may have inadvertently alarmed them. I wish I could say that the satisfaction of helping others in need is sufficient, but I'm not getting that impression from you. I'm sure we can pull together some resources equivalent to whatever currency you use these days. We'll do what we can to make it worthwhile. And until then, you're free to make use of whatever facilities you need on our ship. Ah, so they have a name. Paradiso. And it sounds promising that they sent you here to speak with us. You see, we intended to settle here, but we assumed that they intend to defend their claim given their presence here. We'd like you to go speak to them on our behalf and help us negotiate a solution, preferably one that favors us. Based on the data our ancestors had when they launched this endeavor, it was determined that this was the perfect planet for us. Even if we had another viable candidate planet, we lack the resources to get there. And as you know, it took us 200 years to get here. Our people have no desire to go back to drifting the stars so their children's children can possibly settle on an inferior planet. When we left Earth, there were no claims to planets this far out into space. We had assumed that we were the only ones attempting a generational journey such as this, meaning that there would be no need for a formal claims process. Regardless, my ancestor, Rupert Brackenridge, did manage to file a charter for this planet's first colony, to be named New Jamestown. According to his records, no one took it seriously when he filed it, so likely it was either ignored or the records were lost to the ages. Given humanity's lack of interest in colonizing the far reaches of space at the time, it shouldn't have been a problem, but again, here we are now. Yes, of course. But we need to start from a firm position and state our goal. If need be, we can compromise, work out a mutually beneficial deal or some such, but initially I'd like you to be firm with them and convince them to leave the planet to us. Let me know how they respond, and we'll go from there. We thought about it, but it simply won't do. I need to think about the distant future of our people. Sure, our first settlement may be small, but our predecessors dreamt of our new civilization spreading across the globe. That will be difficult if someone else plans to do the same. While we're not completely close to the idea of sharing, it's much easier if we have complete domain over this world. Now, it makes little sense to give up before you try. Thank you, and good luck.
Beleza, então a gente vai ter que remediar aí a situação, né, entre eles e Paradiso.
Have a great time.
Excuse me, you can't just waltz in there. Do you have an appointment? I'm afraid so, yes. Sorry, but that's just how it is with the board. They're generally very busy, so any outside parties need to book appointments in advance. I really don't, and I can't have you barging in on the executives while they're working. So if you need something, you can talk to me. That's the best I can do, I'm afraid. Oh, you're the one they're waiting for then. Do you need anything else from me before you meet with the board? What I could tell you would get me in a lot of trouble. Most of them are typical C-level execs. I doubt you even need to use your imagination for that. The ones that show up to work day to day, at least. I swear, I've never even met some of them, because they chill at their own private secluded beach homes all the time. Anyway, be smart around Oliver. He's got a way of getting what he wants without you realizing it. And that's all I'll say. People were a little freaked out around here, understandably. It looks so different and it's so massive. We honestly thought we were under attack by an unknown entity. But then, nothing happened. It just stayed there. No one could communicate with it. And we've been very careful not to alert the resort guests. The board believed it would be bad for business. I can't speak for anyone else, but I've got a pretty high-pressure job working as the executive assistant to the Paradiso board. You can imagine, dealing with a team of execs, trying to manage all of their schedules and their other whims. But it pays well, and they give me a nice executive suite at the hotel to live in, so it's not all bad. Free access to all the resort's amenities after work helps too. Sure. Have fun in the shark tank. And don't worry, even they call it that.
Paradiso Security's only here for your safety. Pretend we're not even here.
I just feel that we should be focusing on the natural beauty of this planet, not our amenities.
There are millions of planets out there. People can go to any one of them. The resort facilities are precisely what we bring to the table. Heck, it's the only thing we've really got to offer.
I don't want to risk us coming off as just another artificial, shady, trash-filled dump like Neon. That's not who we are. We've got something special here. We should embrace that.
Belom's right.
Thank you.
We don't want to compete with Neon. Bayou's ruthless. He'll do anything he can to eliminate the competition. We don't need that kind of trouble. That being said, I think there's a middle ground. Maybe build up the beachfront at a boardwalk amusement park. I've had this idea to build artificial hot springs, that sort of thing.
Sounds good. I'll look into what that will cost us and we can circle back around to this.
Just doing my part to make sure Paradiso remains a paradise.
Hello? I didn't realize Kiwi was letting people in here. Not quite. We just don't answer to the Freestar Collective or the United Colonies. Makes things easier. We don't pay any taxes, we don't need to follow their laws. All the benefits, none of the drawbacks. And no one minds, because half the politicians and other big shots love vacationing here. Works for everyone. We, the Paradiso Group, bought the rights to this planet years ago with the intent of turning it into the biggest and best resort in the universe. To that end, I'd say we've succeeded. As such, no other leisure enterprises may operate on the planet without renting land from us. But as you can see, none can afford such a deal. No, of course not. There's several more. We're just the ones who show up day to day. The others spend their time lazing on the beach or gallivanting off-world. Doesn't bother me, though. Less cooks in the kitchen means I get to make all the big decisions around here. Seems to be working out for us just fine. I am. And you must be the diplomat Jiro told me about. Welcome, welcome. Normally I'd offer you an all-inclusive stay at our resort before we spoke. But given the circumstances, I'm going to cut to the chase. We've got our friends, the aliens, up there causing all sorts of problems for our resort. You like that? The marketing team came up with it. The thought is, if we can't get rid of them, it might actually attract more tourism. Come see the aliens! We run a premier resort getaway here. We can't have our guests concocting stories about some bodgy old ship hanging around up there. As it is, we've had to reroute our luxury liners round the other side of the planet on entry so no one sees it. It's bad for business. We need to nip this in the bud and take care of it before the tourists catch on and cause a scene. Ah, we're being direct then. Good on you. So, what do you know about this dodgy ship I'm hearing all about? Well, that's something. Shame we can't just tell them kindly to bugger off. Something tells me that's not going to work. Now, tell me, what are we going to do about it? Give me some proposals, people. I need something to work with here.
We could offer to resettle them here. There's more than enough space.
They could stay here, temporarily, but it'll cost them. Quite a bit, too. They'd need to work off all their debts before being allowed to leave.
Maybe not. What if we help them get out of here? Outfit their ship with a grav drive so they can find a new home. We could even lend our engineers to help and give their captain an updated star map. What do you think?
Sounds costly. We can't absorb that cost, and it's unlikely they even have compatible currency, let alone enough for the transaction. Someone else would have to foot the bill.
Oh, I swear this would be a lot easier if they ceased to exist entirely. Anyway, Seema's got the right idea. Either works for me. Just tell me what you want to do. We operate outside of the Free Stars only, you see, partially because we don't want anyone else meddling in our affairs. And we'd rather not draw attention to it. As I've mentioned, it could be bad for business. We'd much rather settle this independently. I'm not suggesting anything, other than it would make our lives so much easier if that ship ceased existing. Make of that what you will. It's not our responsibility to bear the brunt of that cost. We're being more than generous by offering the use of our engineering team to help install it. A custom grav drive can't come cheap, and I assume they have neither the monetary means nor the connections to get a hold of that kind of technology. That leaves the only other party in this negotiation. You. Oh, I didn't say that specifically. This would be a mutual contract for room and board in exchange for services rendered. Of course, there's no telling how long this arrangement will last, given the substantial costs we'd need to take on in order to accommodate them here, including their continued room and board. But this may save the resort on operating costs in the long term, as we'd be able to let go of some of our current paid staff. And which proposal will you be taking to the good captain? I assume there's a captain? They'd be hard-pressed to defend their claim in any courts. Our charter goes back years. It was registered with both the UC and Free Star Collective, per the Centaurus Proclamation. We may be outside the settled systems, but that charter's official as can be. I'm sorry, but you're going to need to be the one to break the news to them that they need to make a compromise or leave.
Beleza, pessoal. Então aqui a gente tem três opções, tá? O acordo, que é totalmente suspeito ali, praticamente eu acho que eles vão virar escravos aqui de trabalho. O outro para comprar o motor grave, que eu acho que é a melhor opção, pelo menos eles vão tentar ir em outro planeta, né, se estabilizar. E a terceira opção, você já entendeu que os caras querem matar eles lá explodindo a nave, né? Então eu vou de segunda aqui, que é a melhor, pelo menos na minha visão.
Ah, good on you. You want to see a man named Benny St. James over at Hope Tech. He's the best in the business. If anyone can retrofit a 200-year-old ship with a modern grav drive, it'd be him. We'll coordinate our engineering team with his when you return, though you may have to help the Constance engineers prepare for it on their end. Good luck!
They deserve a renewed chance to decide their own fates. That is the right thing to do.
Right. On behalf of the Paradiso Group, we appreciate your help.
Oh no, that wouldn't work. The O2 needs enough capacity for the whole ship. Oh, Hello. Someone worth paying attention to. Well, all of them. I've been with Mr. Hope since near the beginning. I think he appreciates my attention to detail and my focus on the fundamentals. Although he has been hinting that the R&D budget may dry up if I don't produce results. Oh, it's marvelous. Generally, they only care about efficiency, cost-effectiveness, and reliability. Oh, sure, there are the odd complaints about comfort and lack of decent airflow, but they almost always side with the numbers. Sure, that sounds like me. What can I do for you? I'm a little busy, but I think I could spare some time. Ah, so that's what this is. Oliver Campbell told me to expect you. His courier just left. Didn't say you'd be so rude about it. But I guess that's the kind of company Oliver keeps. I did some research on ships from that era, so I have a decent enough idea of what we need to do. So grav drives didn't really take off until after the ship was built. But I've got access to an ancient grav drive that looks like it could be compatible. With some minor adjustments. It's in good shape, too. Parts not cheap, though. Neither is the labor. Just pay the combined cost of parts and labor, and it's yours. You're darn right it is. I'll get to work on it right away. I recommend you go back to the ship and ask the captain to prepare for its retrofit. Standard stuff. I'm sure they have an engineer on board to help. We'll send the part along when it's ready and install it with the help of Oliver's people. Pleasure working with you.
If the other colonists knew how many times the Constant almost came apart at the seams. Whew. Well, thankfully, I never let it. I was hoping to talk to our visitor from outer space, and here you are! Welcome, welcome! I have a million burning questions, but I won't overwhelm you. There will be plenty of time for that later. Please, indulge me just a couple. How did you do it? Did humanity finally discover faster than light travel and eclipse our poor old ship? Ah, I knew it. It's incredible! I read about this technology in our archives from Earth, but it was only theoretical back then. Amazing! I'll have to learn more. Oh, I've got so many questions, but I'm being rude. I haven't even given you my name. Chief Engineer Kazemi, but you can call me Amin. And, I might add, I'm one of the reasons we're still floating out here today. Yes, of course. Anything for my new friend. Ah, great question. I do not know for sure, but I can venture a guess. All of the reading I've done on the matter suggests that at the time, there was uncertainty that the technology would ever work, or if it did, that it would work at the scale we needed. So, I trust they made the decision to strike out when they did, fully believing it was the only way. Some may say I'm a master of keeping things together with nothing but duct tape and bubblegum. Well, if we had any gum left. Pretty sure that ran out 100 years ago. When I'm not dealing with catastrophic engine failures, I manage the other engineers. We maintain all the machinery, computers, you name it. We keep the life support on, and the ship flying. Many years ago, when I was a junior engineer, the reactor's computer burned out. The computer that controls the reactor's various regulators. I'll spare you the details, but when that happens, the ship and everyone on it is in danger of turning into a mess of hot slag. I had to jury-rig parts from old media devices to prevent a meltdown. And that's how I became the boss around here. Yes! So many! Does everyone have their own spaceships like you? Do people only live on naturally habitable planets, or did they learn to terraform? Are we in contact with alien species? I have so many more, but I don't want to take up all your time. Haha! I knew it! Incredible! Amazing! Simply amazing! In our ancestors' time, only the very wealthy could afford to build ships. Even this ship was only possible by our families pulling together nearly all of their financial resources. I'm not surprised. The amount of energy it would take to terraform an entire planet seems improbable. I can assume these types of colonies are strictly for mining and gathering rare resources, since there are nearly limitless habitable planets to choose from out there. Disappointing, but not unexpected. When you showed up, I tried to tell the others about the Fermi paradox. I suggested that the most likely explanation for you was that humanity had developed faster, more advanced technology and had leapfrogged us. Seems I was right. Thank you for taking the time to talk with me. I can have a bit of a big personality, I'm told. So let me know if I ever get on your nerves. What grab drive? Just joking with you. The Paradiso engineers filled me in. Okay, let's see what we need to do. All right. This will be fun. And hopefully there will be no explosions in the process. I have just received word that the drive is here. Ready to get to work? Yes, of course I need your help. My team needs to stay on top of their daily maintenance, and I need to make my own preparations for this gravity drive you brought us. Your help is going to be vital to this procedure. And have no worries, it'll be easy. I'll guide you through the process. Oh, don't worry about that. Just a little engineering humor. We've kept this ship going with minimal incidents this long. I'm not about to let anything happen to it now. But, to be clear, what we're doing is very dangerous, and we should be prepared for anything. You do? Well, this should be a bit easier, though I must remind you, the ship is much older than the ones you're likely used to working on. So, listen to me first. First thing I need you to do is reroute the power from the port turbo pump to the auxiliary cryogenic radiator. Then, turn the plasma runoff inhibitor function to 5%. Last, you'll need to decouple the magnetic flange pipe enclosures from the auxiliary module assembly. Got it? Let's hop to it!
Beleza, pessoal, e aí a gente vai ter que mexer ali em alguns sistemas aqui da nave também, para conseguir ali, né, fazer tudo direitinho. E claro que a engenharia de espaçonave pode te ajudar bastante aqui, te auxiliando, tá, nas opções e facilitando também, né, essa parte aqui de você progredir, certo? Porque eu acho que pode dar BO dependendo da situação ali ou não também. Só que eu não vou virar para vocês e arriscar aqui, porque a gente tá querendo fazer algo um pouco mais rápido e terminar logo toda essa situação aqui. 2 sistemas a gente já resolveu, agora só falta vir aqui no último, né, e acertar ali esta opção aqui de cima, que eu lembro era 5% ali, beleza.
Thanks.
No matter the outcome, I won't let my crew down. We didn't believe anyone would be out here, but I'm glad for it. Well, well, it would appear we have the means to go nearly anywhere now, thanks to you. The engineers even upgraded our communications equipment so we can speak with passing ships. Turns out it was a pretty easy fix. Thank you again for all you've done. We don't yet know, but we did receive a star map from the Paradiso engineers. I suppose we'll just chart a course for other suitable habitable worlds until we find one that matches the quality of Paradiso. Porrima II here. Without you, we'd most likely be stuck. But you went above and beyond. I'll make sure people tell tales of your generosity for as long as our society lives. I don't know if we can ever fully repay you. Thank you again.
Beleza, pessoal, e creio eu que essa seja a opção mais de boa ali pra gente, né, encerrar a missão, tá? E aí, andando um pouquinho aqui pela área, vamos liberar duas interações ali também, que já são missões aí relacionadas ainda a esta área aqui. Então vamos começar com a primeira, tá? Que é conversando aqui com o objetivo ali, que é uma atividade. Então vamos lá.
Oh, I've heard about you. The visitor who helped us get into the situation we're now in, roaming the galaxy with no end in sight. Sorry, I don't mean to be ungrateful or rude. I'm just frustrated. Still pretty terrible, even though we're now supposedly on our way to our new home. I'm still stuck here with the same people and the same job, day in and day out. Only now, we occasionally see other space travelers. I was really hoping we could finally settle somewhere, because then at least I could hitch a ride out of wherever we landed. Sometimes I wonder if my sister was the lucky one. Well, one of them. I do have a sister on board, Julia, but I'm not talking about her. Julia and I were actually triplets with our sister Jen, but the ship ran out of one of her medications and she didn't make it. Sucks, but it is what it is. We only have so many supplies. We couldn't exactly get anything new along the way. Anyway, it happened a long time ago. I don't really feel that she's lucky. I'm just frustrated. Certainly not what I want to do. I mean, I hate this job, and there's really nothing I can do about it. I'm the cultivation manager. Fancy words for farmer and fertilizer collector. I didn't have a choice. Most people don't. You get a job, and that's it. Like, I'm great at what I do, but I would enjoy doing literally anything else. Meanwhile, my sister Julia, she gets to hang out with kids all day and watch movies. The kids I couldn't care less about, but she doesn't even care about Earth culture. Ugh. Is it that obvious? Breckenridge is intent on finding a home just as perfect as Paradiso, and it's clear that's never going to happen. I'd love to leave. But outside of you and the occasional passing trade ships we make contact with, there aren't any ways off this ship. And besides, Breckenridge forbids it. I've tried. She insists we stay together for the sake of the community. I'm stuck here. Oh my God, yes! It's all I've ever known. But I feel a deep need to get out of here. I can't explain it. Maybe it was all those movies I saw as a kid. Green meadows, beaches, lush forests, mountains. I've always wanted to experience these things. And we were so close to it, damn it! I could almost feel it. So yeah, I'm done with this place. It's a long shot. You've dealt with her. You know she can be stubborn. But then again, you did make her see reason before and set us on this path. Maybe you can do it again and fix this mess. Sorry, I know it may not sound like it, but I'd actually be really grateful to you if you succeed.
When we confront her about this, we will not take no for an answer. She will let you go. You'll see.
Wow. I've heard about you, but...
My crew may not realize it now, but we will be much happier with a home of our own. That's a good question, but I firmly believe that establishing our own home is what our ancestors would want for us. I think that we will assimilate to some degree, particularly when it comes to trade and exchange of ideas. However, we've fared by ourselves for so long, it would be unreasonable for our people to give up our own sovereignty in favor of a completely different society's rules and expectations. It may seem like it's about me maintaining control, but it's more about avoiding massive culture shock. We'll get there, but we'll need to ease into it so future generations can reap the benefits. Understandably, some are disappointed that we gave up our home, but I think I've managed to convince them that this will be best in the long term. I have no doubt that even if it takes more time, we will manage to find something even better. And it's important to remember we're still way ahead of our original schedule. Everything will be fine. Goodness, I'm not sure yet. We'll need to study our new star map. Then, well, I suppose we'll venture forth and try to find the perfect new home for us. It may take some time, but I'm confident we'll find something. And when we do, we'll find a shuttle to take us planetside. Thanks again for your help. That planet was not right for us anyway. No doubt the next one will be. I'm well aware of Janet's desire to leave. I'll tell you the same thing I told her. For the sake of our mission and community, we need to stay together. Each member of our community is valuable, especially Janet. If she left, we'd be at least a couple of weeks behind in food production while we trained someone to fill her role. But I suppose if you brought us more food staples to tide us over while that happens, we could do it. Say, a large quantity of potatoes?
Beleza, pessoal, nessa parte aqui, né, eu saí e fui lá juntar, né, 50 batatas ali pra gente ir por esta opção aqui com ela, tá? Porque a gente já sabe ali toda a história dessa nave aqui, então eles já não estão ali numa condição lá tão também daquela forma, né? Aí eu preferi não persuadir mesmo e seguir pela opção da batata, beleza? Mas aí a escolha é de vocês, certo?
Thank you. I know it must seem silly to compare a person's value to a sack of potatoes, but as you know, our ship's priorities are unique in nature. But this will help make up for the lower crop yields in the coming weeks. I know this will make Janet happy. I just hope I don't regret this decision.
I have seen stranger things, and I know more than a few people who are not worth a sack of potatoes.
Take no offense, but I'm...
It'll be a miracle if you can get through to Captain Brackenridge. Wait, for real? How? I thought I was going to have to escape on my own somehow, but if she's given me her blessing, that's even better. Okay, my fault for asking. Do I even want to know how many potatoes I'm worth? Ugh. Ah, well, at least it worked. Tell you what, if I ever see you again, remind me to repay you with potatoes for your trouble. Anyway, thanks for helping me. I know you didn't need to. Julia? Oh, she'll be fine. She loves this stupid ship. I've tried talking her into coming with me, but she won't budge. Like almost everyone else, she believes in the original mission. Whatever. I'm sure I'll hear news of the Constant's whereabouts. Maybe I'll even come back to visit. She's my sister, after all. No idea. One of the techs who helped retrofit the grav drive onto the Constant mentioned a place called New Atlantis. Maybe I'll check it out. It sounded interesting. Anyway, seems like a good place to start, especially if I want to find a job that isn't farming. Thanks again. I'm going to need it. It's a whole new world out there. I hope we meet again someday.
Beleza, uma das atividades a gente já completou, vamos agora para a próxima, que já é uma missão secundária que dá para ficar repetindo também.
What a day! I'm looking forward to some time alone with my hubby. Oh, hi! Hello! You're the alien. Sorry, old habit. Let me start over. You're the person who helped us with our little dilemma, aren't you? It's fine! I'm just a bundle of nerves still. Things haven't changed too much since we decided to look for a new planet to call home. People still come to me with their problems and concerns. Abe, when are we gonna get there? Abe, can we find a planet with animals? Abe, I'm sick of this ship and want to be anywhere but here, and so on and so forth. It's fine, it's my job, but it's stressful, and I'm already a pretty anxious guy to begin with. Just ask my husband. Sorry, yeah. Deep breath, here we go. I'm Abe. Levitz. Abe Levitz, cabin manager on board the ship, so I'm happy to help you with anything you need during your stay with us. I'm happy to schmooze with you anytime. Oh? Oh, you must mean the Yiddish. It's an old family tradition. The Levitts have been trying to keep it alive for hundreds of years now. See, we didn't think the language would survive if we didn't, so we charged ourselves with preserving it. It's a point of pride for our family, and something I'd like to pass on to others so they don't forget. Like my great-great-great-great-grandmother's latke recipe. People didn't know what to think. Here we are, minding our own business out in deep space, all alone. Then we hear some sort of garbled transmissions on the radio, real screechy, real inhuman sounding stuff. Then you show up? People had all sorts of fakakta theories, aliens, time travelers, you name it. We watch a lot of old movies, so... Anyway, it spooked the bejesus out of us, because we were expecting to find nobody. Me? Hey, well, there's not much to say. I take care of people here. I live with my husband, Daisuke. No kids, though that might change now that we no longer need to worry about resources so much. Instead, I get to spend time with everyone and their families here. They call me their bubby because I'm like the grandmother they never had. I may have had something to do with that nickname. Ah, glad you asked! I coordinate cabin maintenance, plan activities, even help settle domestic disputes. It's a demanding job, but in short, I'm here to keep people happy. I try to keep both the kids and adults entertained. Scavenger hunts, sing-alongs, fun little art projects, you name it. We also have regular media nights where a historian, Julia Yang, screens old movies, plays music, and exposes us to other Earth media. Oh, you heard? I was just kvetching to myself. Mostly I just need to find someone with a ship, but hey, you're someone with a ship, aren't you? I'll save you the spiel, but ever since we found out that people exist out there, the crew's been asking me if we could track down possible relatives. I made the mistake of looking some up, and now they want to connect with them. Now, I'm not gonna ask you to schlep anyone back and forth, but could you deliver these messages for us to connect our crew with their relatives? Oh, you're such a mensch! Thank you! Let me get you the letter and the information you'll need to track down the relative.
Beleza, a partir desse momento temos aí uma localização para ir, tá? Que no caso ali é no sistema do Sol também, que é o último sistema que eu vou fazer a inspeção aqui no canal. Amanhã, possivelmente, né, eu já consiga vir aqui, aí eu vejo se tem missão e algo desse tipo aqui também nessa área, tá? Porque a gente já vai terminar ali, aí só vai faltar as conquistas, que é coisa rápida pra mim fazer, porque, né, eu já tenho todo o material ali necessário pra mim completar qualquer uma delas.
Welcome to New Homestead. Please make your way to the building at the end of the path and down into the colony below. Stay safe and enjoy your visit.
Beleza, aí a gente vai entrar ali na localização, que é meio que uma cidadezinha pequena também, e a gente já vai encontrar o personagem lá.
And you are... Wow, for real? How do I know this isn't some sort of scam? Look, that's a nice story, but I'm pretty busy. I don't have time for that. Yeah, I hope so. Maybe I owe it to them to talk. It's the least I could do. Well, sure. I guess I'm interested in finding out more. Okay, let me take a look at what you've got there. Thank you. I knew I probably had family out there I didn't know about, but this is something else. I'm not sure I'm ready for this. Here's hoping it does. Thanks again for letting me know. Fingers crossed.
Well, I suppose this is one way to make a living. And if New Homestead deems it necessary.
Again, I really appreciate your help finding our crew's family out there. I know they're really gonna appreciate what we're doing. Oh, do tell. Sadly, there's nothing we can do. Some people just aren't ready for a relationship with someone they didn't even know existed. It's a lot to throw on someone out of the blue. Maybe they'll come around, maybe not. I prepared everyone who asks me to find their relatives that this could be a possibility. I know I can't keep asking you to go back and forth for everyone. For now, it'll have to wait. But we'll come up with something. Just knowing that family exists out there is enough for some of us. We'll see, I guess. Maybe they'll meet up, maybe not. Either way, at least they know. Thank you for doing this for us. Let me know if you're willing to do it again.
Beleza, pessoal, então com isso, por enquanto, a gente já fez aqui as missões, tá? Dá pra ficar repetindo essa daí também pra quem quiser, mas vamos lá, né? Voltar ali pro sistema e começar a inspeção de tudo aqui, porque ainda temos muita coisa pra fazer, né? Primeiramente, tem aqui, né, o próprio planeta que a gente já entrou, 6 inimigos, 5 plantas, 4 recursos e 1 atributo, tá? Aqui, aquele esquema, né, o desempenho ali também não tava lá muitas coisas não, porque realmente é uma área bem preenchida de coisas e o meu save tá todo cagado, porém dava pra fazer as coisas ali com calma, tranquilidade, levava um pouquinho mais de tempo, né, mas nada muito complicado não, já que esse daqui é o penúltimo sistema, né, que eu estou inspecionando, porque só vai faltar um. E a gente já visitou ele, que é o próprio Sol, que vai pro próximo vídeo. E ainda tenho que ver se vai ter algumas missões lá. Mas de boa. Pouco a pouco, a gente vai completando ali o conteúdo deste planeta, apesar que nem tudo está aqui neste bioma e a gente vai ser obrigado ali a ir para outro, né? Nada muito complicado não. Rapaz, cadê a última parte desse atributo aqui? Achou. Agora beleza. Vamos ver aqui, pelo jeito tá no oceano, mas será que tem algum bioma ali que, pô, eu não tenha feito? Ou esse planeta inteiro é um bioma só ali de floresta tropical, hein? E rapaz, eu acho que é mesmo. Caraca! É isso mesmo. Tá bom, né? Então vamos criar uma área costeira e correr lá no oceano e ver se a gente encontra tudo. E de quebra era isso mesmo, tá? As duas formas de vida que estavam faltando está no oceano ali. Esse planeta, ele tem 3 luas. Então primeiro ali vamos para a lua A. É um asteroide, resumo. Nós só iremos ali fazer a inspeção dele e já partir ali para a lua B também. Tive um combate de nave aí de quebra, né? Pra dar aquela atrasada no rolê. Agora vamos ali pra lua B. Temos aí 2 recursos e 1 atributo pra ir atrás. Coisinha bem simples, né? Apesar que eu tive ali que gerar uma outra área para encontrar o atributo, mas tranquilo. Agora vamos para a lua C. Três recursos e 2 atributos. Eu acho que um deles ali já vai estar inspecionado, né? Porque eu só tô vendo 2 recursos para ir atrás e é isso mesmo. Parte boa é que eu não precisei gerar outra área ali pra encontrar o atributo que tava faltando. Agora a gente volta pra ordem ali do sistema. Planeta 1. Mais um combate de nave pra atrasar ali. Dois recursos e 1 atributo, planeta genérico. E agora a gente vai ali partir para suas luas, né? Que no caso ele tem 2. Lua A, 3 recursos apenas. Sempre pousando no mais raro ali para facilitar. Agora vamos para a Lua B. Quatro recursos apenas para ir atrás, tranquilo, tem umas áreas genéricas ali. Eu vou aproveitar e passar nelas mesmo. Agora a gente pula o segundo planeta ali e vamos para o terceiro, que a gente já visitou também no meio da gameplay. Passamos ali, né, na Via Rubra, apesar que tem uma atividade ali para fazer, porém a gente já fez ela na Freestar, se eu não estou enganado, nos Rangers lá, né? Uma missãozinha aí de facção também que a gente teve que fazer. E aí eu não vou precisar fazer de novo essa parte aí também, né? Desempenho aqui também não estava dos melhores, não. Mas de boa. Pelo menos dava pra gente ir completando as coisas. Aí só vai faltar um sistema e, se eu não tô enganado, 8 conquistas ali que eu preciso completar, apesar de eu já ter todos os itens necessários para fazer elas ali. O terceiro planeta tem 2 luas, então a gente tá indo pra lua A agora. Três recursos e um atributo. Vamos para a lua B. É um sistema bem movimentado ali, a gente tá tendo bastante combate de nave aí. 4 recursos apenas, tranquilo, vou aproveitar ali uma área genérica mesmo para ir atrás de tudo. Agora, partimos ali para o quarto planeta do sistema. É um gigante gasoso. Detalhe dele que vai ter 4 luas ali pra gente passar em cada uma delas. Vamos pra lua A. Três recursos e um atributo, tranquilo aí também pra gente ir atrás de tudo. Agora a lua B.
Enemy's jump drive is offline.
Passamos por mais um combate ali, mesma coisa da anterior, 3 recursos e um atributo. Lua C. Temos bastante coisa aqui, né? 4 formas de vida, 3 plantas, 8 recursos e 2 atributos. Não tem nada ali, pelo menos, no oceano. Já dá uma aliviada no rolê. A gente acabou ali completando, né, esse bioma, até que tinha bastante coisa ali pra fazer em apenas um. Detalhe maior que aí eu tive que ir pra área do gelo lá, que não tava completado, pra encerrar tudo direitinho também. Mantendo ali uma certa distância dos inimigos, né, pra evitar combate. Porque tinha uns ali que atacava de longe e aí já viu, né? A visão dos bichos é muito boa. E é isso aí. Agora é a última lua deste planeta aqui. Temos 8 recursos e 2 atributos. Tranquilo. Acabou faltando ali pra mim um recurso ainda, né? Então eu tive que gerar uma área em cima dele ali, porque era um recurso um pouquinho mais raro. E aí não apareceu lá não, apesar que eu ainda dei uma volta na área. Agora é o 5º planeta do sistema. Bom, também é um gigante gasoso. A gente não perde tempo nele, porque é só escanear. Porém, ele tem 3 luas ali pra gente dar uma passadinha ainda. Não deve ter nada muito complicado não, porque a gente já está nos finalmente aqui também do sistema, né? Agora combate de nave tá foda. Tá atrapalhando bem aqui. Bom, lua A, 8 recursos e 1 atributo. De boa. Ainda de quebra eu tive que gerar uma outra área ali também, porque tava meio complicado, né? Encontrar tudo. Às vezes acontece, né? Vem umas áreas meia torta ali que não tem bastante coisa, e aí atrapalha o rolê. Agora vamos pra lua B. Mais combate de nave. O jogo hoje tá empenhado. 4 recursos ali, de boa. E agora é a última lua deste planeta aqui. Pra gente chegar ali nos finalmente de tudo. Quatro recursos apenas pra gente ir atrás, bem tranquilo. E agora é partir para os finalmentes, né? Que é o último planeta e a última lua também pra gente encerrar tudo. Hoje tá foda, hein? Rapaz. 3 recursos. Vai ser uma coisa aí bem rápida. Apesar que no recurso mais raro ali já tinha uma área genérica. Eu aproveitei ela já pra fazer tudo. E chegamos, né? Nos finalmente, que é a última lua ali deste sistema. Eu já vou aproveitar, dar uma geralzinha ali no game, né? Porque aí eu já faço o último sistema ali pro próximo vídeo. 3 recursos e 1 atributo só. E de quebra a gente faz a missão nova, que também já saiu uma atualização para consertar um problema ali. Complicado, né? O jogo já tá todo cagado, até no teu save que não é pra tu explorar. E ainda sai uma missão nova e a missão nova já tem com bug. É brincadeira, a Bethesda tá foda, mano. Mas de boa. Bom, encerrando mais um vídeo, mais um sistema aí 100%. No próximo a gente já vai partir pro último, que eu deixei o nosso aqui, né? Em relação ao Sol. E aí a gente completa as conquistas lá e platina o game, beleza, pessoal? Se gostou, deixa o like, se inscreva no canal. Valeu! Falou!